This is the newly refreshed 2022 Eclipse Cross from Mitsubishi. Is it good enough to tackle the mountains? We're going to find out right now on Driving Sports TV. This is the Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, another small crossover that competes with the Subaru Forester, Hyundai Tucson, and Toyota Corolla Cross, among others. For 2022, the Eclipse Cross gets a mid-cycle refresh with updates to both the interior and exterior. The model we're testing is the loaded SEL with a number of add-ons, including black lettering on the hood, ground effects, and red diamond paint, in addition to touring and popular value packages. Price as you see it here, $34,670 US, including destination. This refresh, I think it actually looks pretty good, especially in this red. But how well does it do in the mountains? We're gonna find out. But first, let's check out all the features, and we're gonna start with what's under the hood. Under the hood is a turbocharged inline-4 that makes 152 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque. It is connected to a continuously variable transmission, and it powers all four wheels through Mitsubishi's Super All-Wheel Control all-wheel drive system. We'll get into that a little bit later. Even though this is a top-level trim, the rear gate is still manual. And inside you'll find up to 23 cubic feet of total cargo capacity. Folding the seats down is pretty easy. All I do is take that off, flip, and down we go. Under the floor is a spare. Okay, wow, that door opens really wide. Oh, this is pretty nice. Headroom is a little snug. It's also quite dark. I mean, we have this charcoal black just everywhere. I do have a sunroof up front, and I also have a sunroof right here, which I can control myself. How neat is that? Okay, that makes it a little bit lighter in here. So this seat is where I would be sitting. I'm 6'1", legs torso proportionate. I have several inches there. My feet fit nicely under the seat. I also get 2 stages of seat warmers. And on top of that, I get a 12-volt DC socket. Here for my armrest with cup holders. This is actually pretty nice. So inside, I kind of like it. Now there are some things that basically are big red flags immediately. All this piano black. 3,000 miles and it's already all scratched up. It is not going to wear well. All the charcoal blacks kind of match, which is good. Even with different types of plastic, they all kind of come together, which is, you know, an overall good look. The gauge cluster combines both a multifunction display in the middle with 2 traditional dials. We have a tach on the left, speedo on the right. So in the center, I can toggle between eco mode, the S-AWC all-wheel drive power shifting visualizer, maintenance, settings, trip. So we have a few things there, but not a ton of information. Up in the middle, we have a larger display than last year, and we have physical volume and tune dials. Go ahead and power that on, turn down so we don't get a copyright strike. The display is a little soft. It's not vibrant like you would get on some higher end models, and I'm a little unclear as to when I'm supposed to swipe and when I'm not. In this top end trim SEL, you get TomTom navigation, which is actually a pretty good system. Let's try it with the voice control, however. Navigate to the nearest coffee shop.
Could not recognize. Press the speech key and speak again.
Search nearby for coffee.
Search nearby. Start search along route. Say the name of a category such as a convenience store near the current location.
Coffee shop.
Or a bank near the route.
Coffee shop.
Could not recognize.
Okay,
Press
so
the speech key and
clearly it does not use natural language. You have to really fit into the hole of what it's expecting, and that's not great. Let's see if we can just do a quick text search here. I'm going to type in text. Let's see if we can just find a coffee shop. COFFEESHOP. I hate these stylized buttons. Just give me squares, guys. It's okay. Oh, it's looking for keywords. So it's finding something in Texas called coffee shop. Okay, let's look at, let's just look for Victor's, VICTORS, coffee. So the actual name of Victor's Coffee is Victor's Celtic Coffee. Oh, they actually have it listed as Victor's Coffee. Okay, let's do that. And hit the little drive icon, and away we go. Gives me a little progress route, and the graphics are nice. Not sure about pink for the background, but whatever. Everybody else has gotten so much better. This isn't going to cut it. Not great. But most people today will use their mobile device for navigation anyway. So let's plug in this one. It does use the old style USB-A interface. Plug it in. There we go. Always enable. And now that we have CarPlay, we can just do freestyle search. Find the nearest coffee shop.
Okay, here's what I found.
I mean, there we go. Let's go to Grounds Coffee. Sure, why not? And that's right up the street. So we can go ahead and cancel that. Boom, 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 and away we go. Decent. Now, there is one thing that I'm really excited in this vehicle, a surround view camera system. How cool is that? I mean, granted, yeah, it's low resolution, but it is a nice feature to have. The steering wheel is fairly nicely designed. I like how tightly integrated the buttons are. We do have adaptive cruise control. And let's talk about active safety. Speaking of adaptive cruise control, this does have collision mitigation at all trim levels. This one being high-end, you get that special adaptive. You also get blind spot warning, and you get rear cross traffic alerts. Again, piano black makes an appearance. That's not going to look great after a while, and the leather isn't the best, but it's still fairly comfortable. One thing that Mitsubishi always does, I think, pretty well is the placement of their paddle shifters. They don't do them on the wheel, they do them on the stock, and I prefer it on the stock because they never move. They're always in the same place. If you're turning, especially in a street car, if you're turning, you might be doing hand over hand, and then you want to find your paddles. That's not going to happen. I mean, granted, that's not every day, but sometimes it is. Here, they're always right where you want them. But of course, this is a continuously variable transmission. What's the point of a paddle shifter? It's really just to emulate for if you want to do compression braking downhill, or you just want to have a sportier feel. Okay, did we cover everything? No, there is actually more. We have dual sunroofs, which is a nice look. And then down here we have a pop-up heads-up display system. I hate those. They get all dusty and scratchy, and this one's already pretty dusty. And it's basically just telling me what's in my gauge cluster down below there anyway. See, I can tilt this. Can I tilt this a little bit? Mazda used to do the same setup, and I never liked it. It just seemed like something that was going to break. In terms of comfort, we got a lot of good stuff going on here. The seat is pretty comfortable with some nice bolstering on the side. We have power adjustments both on the driver and passenger side. We have 2 stages of heat, and we even have a heated steering wheel. Yeah. Now let's talk about the all-wheel drive system. This uses Mitsubishi's Super All-Wheel Control all-wheel drive setup. Now, Super All-Wheel Control is a name that's historically been applied to a number of different Mitsubishi setups. It's kind of like the way Subaru refers to Subaru Symmetrical all-wheel drive, even though it's a number of systems. In this case, it is really the simplest of the S-AWC setups. What we're dealing with here is a clutch pack in the middle that shifts power front to back, and then we're using brake control on the individual wheels to shift power left and right. S-AWC goes all the way back to the Evo, and this is certainly not the same level of all-wheel drive, which is unfortunate. Or is it? We're going to hit the mountains to see if this all-wheel drive system can live up to its name. But first, we have to hit the freeway. So this Eclipse Cross starts at around $29,000 at this trim level. However, this one has lots of options. You're looking at almost $5,000 in options. The one we have here is equipped with the blind spot warning, high-speed collision mitigation, lane detection, and adaptive cruise control. Since we're on the freeway here, let's try that adaptive cruise control. I'm just gonna hit the button here to turn it on, hit set, and we are rolling. Now, you will note that if I'm going into a lane, it basically just tells me that I'm going into a lane. There is no auto steer. There's not even a bump back into the lane. It is purely a notification system. Interior noise is actually pretty well controlled. Visibility is pretty good. Seating position, I actually really like these seats. They are surprisingly comfortable with lots of bolstering on the sides. Yeah, I could get used to this. Now, you will notice that I do not have the heads-up display on because I find this particular flip-up style of heads-up display to not really be that useful, so I'm just ignoring that. And man, the piano, I just look at this interior and I'm like, wow, so much piano black. But overall, the style I think is cool. It's modern. There's just some plastics which are a little bit low rent. But, you know, overall for this price point, I think it's actually a pretty nice interior. I mean, keep in mind, this compares against like the Honda CR-V, either the Subaru Crosstrek or Forester, whichever way you kind of want to go there. Now, can you find a Mitsubishi dealer near you? Yeah, there's not a lot of them. Certainly not as many as there were a few years ago. This thing is pretty nice to drive on just regular city streets. It's composed, the steering inputs feel fine, the shocks are decent, you know, a little soft, but not too bad. I have enough power, I have all the safety stuff that I want around town. Yeah, it's pretty good actually. Now, does that make this head and shoulders above everything else in the class? Well, no, but it does make it competent and a worthy competitor. And given, you know, the trials and tribulations that Mitsubishi's been through for the last several years, I think that's actually saying a lot about what Mitsubishi's pulled off here. And let's roll up here and we're gonna see exactly what this thing can do in a 0 to 60. And keep in mind the Subaru Forester does 0 to 60 in about 9 seconds. Is this thing any quicker? Stop completely. We're on a mostly level surface. And I'm gonna preload just a little bit. 3, 2, 1, go. Ooh, not doing great here. And 60 in 8.65 seconds. So, faster than a Subaru Forester, much faster than a Toyota Corolla Cross, not nearly as fast as a Ford Maverick. Clearly this is primarily a front-wheel drive vehicle and it's using a clutch pack to transfer power to the back wheels. But it doesn't feel like a front-wheel drive. Some systems in this price class, when you mosh the throttle, you can feel those little feet in the front go. Not so with this one. It actually feels like an all-wheel drive vehicle all the time, and I think that actually is it's a big thing to be able to say for a vehicle in this class. But does that all-wheel drive system capability here translate off-road? Let's go find out. Ooh, oh, that soft suspension actually is a benefit here. Nice. Haha, boy, I haven't been up this road in a long time. As you probably know, Mitsubishi has its roots in the World Rally Championship. So, is any of that rally DNA in this vehicle? Let's do a little on-throttle gravel test. Switch to gravel and see. I'm gonna go into the corner, I'm gonna throttle. No, definitely not. I'm just not getting enough power to the back to really feel like I can overdrive those corners. This is the first obstacle, and it's not really that hard, but systems that really truly are incompetent fail here. So we're going to give this a try and see how well this S-AWC system, even being watered down as it is, just see how good it is. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn on the front camera, which is just a button over here. It's a low resolution affair, but it does the job. I'm going to put one set of wheels up on this sharp, craggy stuff, and I'm going to keep another set of wheels on the loose stuff on the right. Now, any system should do okay with this. The rocks are a little slippery from the moisture. Oh yeah, shifts that power around, no problem. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good about the road ahead. I think this will do fine, but never know till you try. So what I'm going to do right now is test this all-wheel drive system, and I'm going to stop at select points to really let the system do the work and sort it out. That way you can see how the system responds. It's not about getting up the course. I know this can do that. Anything can do it with enough momentum. I want to see how the system logic functions. And I'm going to go ahead and start. Let's just put it in gravel mode, because that should put maximum power to the back. Now, this being a clutch-based system, it's basically a nominal 50% to the back. However, logically, with enough individual wheel braking, it could possibly do up to like 90 or 100%, but that's one of those like theoretical things. It never really happens. Because what we're going to see up here is when traction is taken off of two wheels, it's going to use brakes, which prevents torque bleeding out of the system, and then redirects some of that torque back to the wheels that presumably have grip. This is right where we should start getting some spinning. I'm going to stop on purpose. Actually, didn't need to stop on purpose. The vehicle just stopped. Now I'm just keeping the throttle in, and we're going to let the system sort it out. I'm seeing on the gauge that it's doing 3 bars. It's doing equal front to back distribution of power. Now these are all Susan radials. I'm creeping forward slowly, and it's working. It's putting the power there. I'm trying to go not too quick because I don't want to pound the nose when I go over this brake. Now this is one of those things. It is a little extra slippery. I do have to say that. Yeah, I think if I added a little momentum, it would get through this no problem. But I'm curious, if I switch into snow mode, which is for slippery conditions, and I'm definitely slipping here, will that improve the situation? Drive, snow, and throttle. Let's see. Same apply. Oh, I'm sliding back because throttle isn't as aggressive. I have to add more throttle. Power shifting. On the outside, you can see that when compared to gravel mode in slow motion, snow mode looks very similar. There is very little wheel braking occurring. Wheel braking, of course, helps distribute power. From the driver's perspective, I just end up giving more throttle to compensate for snow mode's lower power output. This causes both modes to yield similar results. In both settings, it does manage to get out of the situation, but this is not where the Eclipse Cross really wants to be. If you see trails like this in your future, you would be much better going with a Subaru Forester or even a Bronco Sport. Oh, and we got through. It says that my radar is blocked now. There's nothing, it's just rain. Let me go check my radar. It's just water. Not sure why it's complaining, but it's just water on the front of the sensor. Let's keep on going. Now we have 8.5 inches of ground clearance here. We have no armor underneath the vehicle, so I have to be careful not to hit a rock in a very awkward place. Also, 18-inch wheels, better than 19s, would prefer 17s. Okay, it did just fine. But we're not done yet. We have one more thing to test here. Let's slowly go around, don't hit any of these big rocks in the middle of the trail. Boy, it is rough up here. So going downhill now, we're going to look for hill descent control. Does this have it? S-AWC. No, it doesn't. I have to just use my foot. Never the ideal method. Oh, I can turn that camera back on though, and we can see big rock right there, so let's avoid that. Front cameras are good. Even when they're bad, they're good to have. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthit. Thanks for watching. This has actually been a pretty decent little rig. Now, would I spend mid-30s on it? No, definitely not. I would certainly look at a loaded Subaru Forester or even a Jeep Compass Trailhawk if I wanted to do more trails like this. However, if you are more of a city-going crossover buyer, then I think you will find many good things in this vehicle, and it's definitely worth considering. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthit. Thanks for watching. Give us a like, share this video. We make them for you, and we hope you enjoy them. We'll see you again real soon.